Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Avid Peruser. So, this week I will be reviewing the Boulder Wolves series by Olivia Wildenstein. This is a 3-book series and it is about werewolves. So, the main character is Ness Clark. Ness is 17. The series takes place a few months before her 18th birthday. So, Ness happens to be the first female wolf born into her pack in the pack. At the beginning of the series, we find out that Ness's mom died last year. So when she was 16, her mom died from cancer. And we also find out that her dad died when she was 11 from a hunting accident. They were both in wolf form, and a hunter came and killed him. And so she's an orphan. In book 1, which is called A Pack of Blood and Lies, Ness comes home from school and her uncle, aunt, and cousin are waiting for her in the living room of her apartment in LA. Find her and they're like, Ness, you're 17, you're a minor, you have to come back to the Boulder Wolves pack and we're gonna take care of you until you come of age. So to just deal with moving in with her aunt and uncle until she becomes 18. So she goes back to the Boulder pack, and when she does come back, it happens to be the pack mourning Alpha Heath's death. So the Alpha has currently died, and they don't have an Alpha. So Liam, his son, is going to automatically assume the position, and so Ness is like, hey, would you? Or she's talking to her cousin, she's asking her cousin, what are the odds that they'll let me in the pack now that Alpha Heath is dead? Maybe his son will be different. And her cousin's like, no, Liam is a splitting image of his dad. He does whatever his dad says, so I doubt they'll still accept you. And so being an orphan, and what's definitely a recurring theme with orphans in general, is that they want a place to belong, they want a place to call home, and they want a family. So Ness is like, I've been back and I don't mind it. I want to be a part of this pack, and so she's thinking, if the new Alpha won't let me, then since we don't have an Alpha, I'll challenge him and we can compete and see who's gonna be the Alpha. So her being the only female werewolf in the pack against all males, yeah, you can imagine how that's gonna turn out. So it's Lucas, Liam, Matt, and Ness all compete to be the new Alpha. So book 1 is just a different type of challenges that they have to go through, and at the last couple of chapters is just the final battle. So there was like a race you had to do, then you have to find that ancient root went missing, so you have to find the ancient root, and then you have like a head-to-head challenge to the death, or fight to the death towards the end, something like that. So at the end, we find out, Liam ended up becoming Alpha. That's book 1. Who's the Alpha? So now that we know who the Alpha is, it's going to be Liam. We go into book 2. So book 2, we find out that there's 2 other packs that are in play in this book. There's the Pine Pack, which is a neighboring pack, which has a mixture of male and female wolves, and Ness happens to have her best friend Sarah is part of that pack, and she is kind of teaching her throughout book 1. She teaches her how to be like a female wolf and like what's acceptable and what's not. And then there's also a 3rd pack called the Creek Pack. Now the Creek Pack used to be a really small pack, and they have a female Alpha. She's notorious. She is undefeated. They're like, she's super strong, and her pack actually goes around and absorbs other packs. So to absorb a pack, you have to just fight the Alpha and win. The Boulder packs get robbed. They find out that this medicine they need called psyllium. Psyllium is what, if you get poisoned with silver, psyllium is the remedy for that. So it's really, really important for every pack to have some access to psyllium. they go on the hunt to solve the mystery, who has the psyllium, end up finding out that her cousin Everest took the psyllium and was going to sell it to the Creek Pack. So also in book 2, now that they find out her cousin has stolen the psyllium, the pack decides if they're going to forgive him just to get the psyllium back, or they're going to hunt him down and kill him. The pack votes, and it's to kill him. And so Nessa's like, he's still my blood. Like, it's not. So she fights with Liam, and it's like, all their alternatives. And so they get into a fight. Side note, in book 1, they started to date. So this kind of breaks them up when he wants to kill her cousin, and she loves her cousin. And also their relationship. But then Liam's trying to get her back throughout the rest of the series. And so it becomes this like love triangle with her best friend growing up, her best male friend growing up, this guy named Liam, who is 27 in the series. So he's 10 years older than her. She's always looked at August as a big brother, but her and August has a mate bond. So it's like a magical connection to another wolf, that it's like your fated mate, the person who it's like your soulmate in wolf terms. Yeah. So she was fighting the bond between, or her attractive and magical bond between herself and August, while she was trying to date Liam, who she had just like a natural attraction to. And so that whole love triangle happens. So towards the end of book 2, she's picking August, ends up being the guy. And so they get challenged by the Creek Pack, and the female alpha wins. And so book 2 ends with Sarah's uncle dying. He was the alpha, so it's alpha to alpha fight, and Liam, who's the leader of, or the alpha of the Boulder Pack, challenging the female Creek Pack alpha, because he's like, I think you cheated, and because I don't believe you won that fight fair and square, I challenge you. And so in order to challenge another alpha, you need to have a backup. And so he looks at his best friend, Lucas, is like, hey, you've got my back with this. And Lucas is like, no, this isn't a fight that you can win. It's like, no, it's not like he thinks his friend can't win it. He's just like, there's no reason for us to fight this fight. I mean, we're a small pack. She has now acquired a pack that was larger than us. So they've got numbers in the thousands at this point. And there's no reason for you to want to acquire her pack. Because we find out that the Creek Pack also worked with the cousin to kill his father. Like, there's a whole nother situation that happens in the back. But anyways, so he challenges the Creek Pack, and no one else wants to back him. And so because Ness still has feelings for him, and she's just like, I don't want my friend Sarah to be controlled by these crazy people, I'll just be his second. So she backs him up. And that's the end of book 2, is they have to find out if the Creek Alpha cheated and to somehow be victorious over the Creek Alpha. So in book 3, it's all about figuring out how the Creek Pack Alpha won the fight and to win. Because if he wins, and if Ness wins this fight with the Creek Pack, that means her friends from the Pine Pack aren't controlled by them anymore, and then in a sense they all become one big pack. So she kind of wants that, her friend's part of that pack, and she doesn't want to be controlled by the crazy psycho alpha. So they train, and at the end of book 3, through some miracle, Ness and Liam end up winning. They end up taking down the alpha from the Creek Pack. And it's like happily ever after, but it isn't. During the fight, there's a point where Liam is being like held down by the alpha, and he's like losing consciousness. And so Ness like taps herself in, and she goes to bite the alpha, and the alpha has silver running through her system. And so the alpha also ends up like scratching her across her face. And so between the silver poisoning and the wounds, Ness goes into a coma for a really long time. And when she comes out of the coma, she ends up finding out she's blind. The silver, like, the cuts from the poison, like, prevented her from her natural wolf healing abilities. And so she's blind and permanently scarred. And so she's happy they won, but she like hides from August and is like, you're never gonna want to be with me because I'm like ugly now, or I'm scarred and disfigured. And he tells him, woman, listen, I loved you before and I'll love you. I love who you are, not what you look like. And they happily ever after, right? So throughout the whole series, Ness goes from being she goes from being an outcast to being a hero in her pack. And all it took her was the loss of her left eye and being permanently scarred, you know? So, yeah, that happened. There's a lot of underlining themes that are happening on, so I gave a really brief overview. But, you know, at the end of the series, I mean, the main point of the series was just a girl who's lost, who finally found her place in her pack, in her world. And she finds her happiness. So, I mean, it is a happily ever after story. I rate this book, I give it a 3.5. So, I mean, it was okay. I did want to know what happened next, but there was points that I was just like, super teenage drama-ish, and like just dumb decisions. Like, you could pretty much prevented the whole scarring of yourself if you basically was like, no, Liam, no one's backing you out. Like, there was no reason for that last fight to happen. Like, they would have been chill. Like, I'm glad it worked out for them, but the risk was so high. Like, you could have left well enough alone, and with your ego and just the fact that, you know, Liam's just the new young alpha, and he's like, I could take them, you know, this is retribution for like what they could possibly do to our pack and what they did to our friends' pack. And I'm just like, but you really the strongest people in your pack did not want to fight with you. So the only reason you even got to do this fight was because Ness, and because she didn't want you to go gung-ho style and fight the alpha without a backup. Like, because she cared about you a little bit is the only reason you even survived. And when it came to the last second, the only reason Liam did survive is because she jumped in and pretty much sacrificed herself. So Liam owes Ness everything. He owes her the acquisition of this new pack. Like, I also owes her his life. It's a debt that can't be repaid. I was able to put it down, and I did put it down a few times. I didn't like have to must read this book. It wasn't. The only person I really liked in this book was August, and August could have definitely had more screen time. So I hope you enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, you know, if you like to read or don't like to read, if you just like sharing some Fatima time, and I will see you next time.